In the last two videos, you have seen how I use AI to build this YouTube channel, which actual models I am using, and how to turn all your information and all your ideas actually into a structured plan. Now it is actually time to create one simple PRD for the actual business project. So what are we building? Who is it for? What's the smallest useful version? We went over that. Now we have to turn it into a real document that Claude can always refer to. So let's keep it a bit simple, although it has a lot of context and it obviously needs that context. Let's not make it like 2,000 lines. It's going to be expensive. It's going to, hallucinate very often and quickly if you do it like that. You can improve the PRD later if you want. The point is that it's giving the project a spine. What I would like you to do is to indeed write the design doc as you proposed. But what I also want you to do first actually is to create a PRD out of everything that you know about this. This is the PRD that contains all the project information, the tech stack that we are going to use. We're going to create to-do lists in here. So we always can refer to the PRD if we feel stuck or don't know what's next. PRD should also have a brain dump section. So if I ever go to Claude or Codex and I say, hey, I want to brain dump an idea, I just want to save it somewhere, I don't know how to make it practical yet, then there should be a different section in the PRD for that. So just put in the PRD like, what are we building? Who is it for? What's the smallest useful version? What pages, what files, what tools, or what content do we actually need? What should we not build? Like basically everything that we just went over, but keep it compact. Give it enough context so everything is in there, but don't overdo it. While Claude is creating this, I can make myself useful. I don't have to sit here and wait all the time. Obviously, I can already think about, hey, how do I want the website, give or take, to look? And just collect some screenshots, for example, of interesting websites that I think could be an inspiration. So what I can do is I can go to Dribble and I look for AI website and I can just mess around right here and see like, hey, how is this looking? What resonates with me? What looks like that, simplistic. This is not simplistic to me. This is like a lot, right? I saw one right here that I actually really liked, which is this one, right? It's generate 3D with AI. That's not necessarily what we want, but I like the colors. I like the font style, everything about that. So yeah, that's pretty cool actually. This is looking really AI, like the neon glow. I don't know about that. Maybe also, I don't mind this actually. It's looking pretty good. It's a little in our color theme already, but I like the way that it's modern. It's not completely overwhelming though. Right, so it wrote the PRD, the single source of truth with brain dump section and all of that in the docs probably. So let's go to the docs and let's see the actual PRD. It's not in the docs, it's just here. Okay, good morning. So what we are building, who is it for, why this exists, yada yada, success criteria, the MVP, the sitemap, obviously. So basically all the answers to the questions that I asked or answered, and there should be a brain dump section. It's there as well. So yeah, that one looks good. Now the superpower skill that I used is very proactive when it comes to, asking, brainstorming, creating a document, then writing an implementation plan based on that, and then executing, right? So I'm not gonna completely finish everything that it did right there, but we have a full documentation here with the website design, what should be where, and we can always go back here and tell Claude or Codex like, hey, look at this, now write me a concrete implementation plan. But before we do that, we want to make sure that Claude knows what it's doing, right? So next, I want to create a small rules file. And that's what you can call your CLAUDE.md. And that's basically where you say what the project is, what the model should or should not do. It should not guess, for example, always ask me clarifying questions, where the important files live, and that it should ask questions when it's unclear. Otherwise, it has no rules and it's just gonna do whatever it thinks it needs to do. So actually what I'm gonna do right now, I'm opening a new conversation, just completely different from all the other contexts. I want you to write a CLAUDE.md file based on all the files that we have in this project, especially when it comes to the proof of the AI website design and the PRD that I just created in another session. Write me a good, compact CLAUDE.md file with the most important rules for this project. And one thing that I would like to add is do never guess. If something is not at least 90% clear, then Claude should always ask me clarifying questions before executing anything. And that's it. You can also do / init, and then it will create a new file based on the code base documentation. So I could have also done it like that, but I wanted to add the context of not guessing. But also the CLAUDE.md, you can always adjust it whenever you want. It's just a markdown. A markdown is just a text file, and you can type whatever you want in there or ask Claude to do it. So now it created the CLAUDE.md. And again, be careful what is in there, because here also the North Star is not overwhelming. So if everything is correct, Claude is never going to create something complicated. So if you then ever feel like, man, why is it always so simple? Maybe you should make this more of a TLDR, like, hey, not overwhelming doesn't mean not like beautiful or nice or complex while maintaining structure, right? Keep in mind that CLAUDE.md is really leading with all of this. So here it is, 111 lines, fine, keep it below 150. And when in doubt, reread, open a PRD, or ask Menno. I'm Menno, by the way. A specific question to clarify, don't guess. And it asked me a pretty good question, actually. Do you want me to add something like the channel green hex once you pin it? And I'm like, oh yeah, we have a branding for this YouTube channel, obviously. So yes, I want that. So I happen to have them and pasted it here. So it now knows how to always kind of approach it with our current branding. And then that's it for this step. So the CLAUDE.md is now complete. And only now I will ask Claude to write an implementation plan. So it has the idea, it has the understanding. Now it should be created. But for a real implementation, you need that implementation plan. Like, right, what do we build first? What do we build after that? Like, you cannot have this without that. That's what Claude is really good at. But the implementation itself, I'm going to hand it off to Codex. So now the point is that it should be good enough and have all the context so Codex can do the execution without any further explanation needed. All right, looks good. Thank you. Can you please turn this into a complete standalone implementation plan that I can hand off to Codex so Codex can work on it and it has all the context that it actually needs? Can you make it a phased implementation plan? Phase 1 with step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. Create a checkboxes, right, for every step. So Codex actually knows that it has to check it off once it completed a step. And can you also create a section for me, if needed, obviously, with checkboxes that I actually need to do, right? Because sometimes, you might have to collect some data. You might there's actually stuff that you need to do. Sorry, it's just what it is. So it's convenient to have a personal checkbox as well. All right, the plan is written right now. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hand it off to Codex. Codex, it will read the files, it follows the plan, it changes the project if needed, it verifies the work. And that's how this proof of AI website will get built across the channel. So we plan, execute, break something, fix it, and then show the result. So what I'm going to do first, real quick, is ask Claude, can you give me a very short prompt for Codex to start with? Please keep in mind, Codex has zero context in all of this. So give me something that I can just paste into Codex so it knows exactly what to do. In the meantime, we are going to start a new folder, right, in Codex. So we're going to open new project and we're going to add a new one right here. Then we select the folder and now it's going to work purely from this folder. So now our folder is imported and we can paste whatever Claude gave us into Codex. Good luck. Make me rich. Now keep in mind, this is the start of the whole build workflow. This is not a guarantee that every task is a one shot. And I will already tell you, this is not going to be a one shot. Now later we can talk about how we can make it more advanced using Climb, where we can run open router agents and we, for example, use Gemini or Grok for different type of reasoning or design. But I first just want to make it come to life a little bit so I can move on from that point with fresh ideas myself. Now, in the next videos, we will talk about how to get real data for your project, right? How to make sure that it's all updated, how to run it, how to host it, how to make sure that there's user acquisition and all of that. But slow down a little bit before that, and be careful with what you feed your project. A subscription is not always API usage. Billing can be separate. Env files stay private. And if you connect keys without checking limits, the invoice may become the most advanced AI system in your house. I've been there. I did it with Gemini. It said like it's free, wasn't free, big billing, big surprise, not good. And at this stage of your, experiment, no reason to experiment with that. Also, if you have no idea what to build, do not start with your billionaire SaaS fantasy, okay? Just recreate a simple app or page that you already use or know or understand, and then change it. Learning AI and inventing a product from zero at the same time is how your brain files for bankruptcy, okay? Just get to know the workflow of AI if you are completely unfamiliar with it first. For example, this Bitcoin bear market overlay where you can compare the current bear market to previous bear markets to see how we're doing right now. This works, and it worked right away because it was simple, it was visual, it was backed by clear data, and I already knew what I wanted and where I was getting the information from. So this literally took me less than half an hour or something. But if I were to have no idea on what I exactly wanted, then one, would have taken me way longer, and two, it would not, ended up the way I wanted it to end up. So by now you have the base for a real build, right? Not overwhelming, not messy, nothing like that. VS Code is installed. Claude is ready for the planning. Codex is ready for the execution. Whisperflow ready for everything when it comes to typing, for the brain dumping. And for me, I have one proof of AI folder, one PRD, one CLAUDE.md file, one plan. To be honest, see that? I dumped it all in that folder. So what I will do when Codex is finished, I will ask Claude like, hey, take a look at the project folder, create some nice subfolders, organize it nicely. Because if you start messy with this, which is luckily not a lot yet, but then it's very easy to, keep on doing messy stuff. So before we wrap this video up and look at the MVP, and before we start creating some real interesting things for the next video, actually, here is the whole workflow in one line. You download the tools, you open one clean folder, you brain dump the idea, let Claude interview you, create the PRD and the CLAUDE.md file, or a rules file as some call it, ask for a phased implementation plan, hand it to Codex, preview, review, improve. So before we take the first peek, in the next video, we will start turning this into a actual proof of AI website and not a fake app. But I think it's also good to go over, like, how do you collect inspiration, right? There are so many YouTube videos about this. There are so many websites about this. Like, is there a way to get all that information, filter it out, and apply it to what we actually want? Well, yes, there is. And that's the real fun, half automated part where you feel like this is the biggest time saver. So let's not just do a landing page that only exists so someone can sell you a course, but a real public project that will grow with this channel, with videos, resources, tools, experiments, and eventually a business. But now we are not starting from chaos. We're starting from a clean base, which is already half of the win. All right, so we got the first MVP and it is looking fine, right? Is it something that you would say like, one shot, release it? No, but it has everything in place and we can definitely work from here. So real AI builds, real cost, real mistakes. I like the real. Already an email list right here. That's fine. Not really necessary for the first MVP actually, but whatever. Problem library. I can guarantee you that the actual AI problem library is a lot bigger than this. Walk through how I actually built this channel with AI. Okay, cool. TLDR, blah, 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 blah. It fetched my YouTube video, the transcript that I had from it. So the catch, what it costs. Mark step as done. Okay, then it checks it off right here. So that's pretty cool. Mark 2 done. Is there something cool if I have them all done? Do I kind of get a participation trophy or something like that? Okay, no. Watch the linked video. Release yet at the time of recording, so that wouldn't make sense. But cool. Dark white mode, that works. It's not that bad actually. It's white, but other than that, it's good white. Tools, placeholder, catch, placeholders, obviously video as well, about placeholder. Nice. We can definitely work from this. So this is definitely a setup that I wish that I had before I tried to build real things with AI, because it automatically understands what I want. Everything is in place. And now I can start, expanding from here and making it really cool. And now I'm able to start expanding from here. And that's what we're going to do in the next videos. It's going to be amazing. Not because it makes AI easy, but it makes it less stupidly chaotic, right? And if we are going to build a running business in public, then less chaos is not a small upgrade. It's the first brick. If you want to see the next step, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see the real build progress and not another motivational AI hallucination with whatever is all possible. So thanks for watching, guys. Like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.